Punch, the baby monkey. In the heart of a dense forest, where sunlight filtered softly through layers of green leaves, a small family of monkeys thrived among the tall trees. Among them was Punch, a curious and lively baby monkey with a patch of white fur on his chest that made him easy to spot among the brown and gray adults. From the moment he was born, Punch was different. He was bolder than the other baby monkeys, always the first to climb the tallest branches or reach for fruits dangling from precarious vines. Punch's mother, Suri, watched him with a mixture of pride and anxiety. "Be careful, Punch," she would call as he swung from branch to branch with fearless enthusiasm. But Punch, full of energy, rarely listened. Each day he discovered something new. Sometimes a hidden grove filled with ripe berries, sometimes a trickling stream where dragonflies danced in the sun. His world was vast, and every corner held a secret waiting to be explored. One morning, Punch awoke to the chatter of birds and the distant calls of other monkeys. The forest smelled sweet from overnight rain, and tiny drops clung to leaves and vines. Punch leapt from his mother's back and scampered to the edge of the clearing. His eyes sparkled when he spotted a bright orange butterfly fluttering near a cluster of wildflowers. Without thinking, he chased it, hopping over roots and slipping slightly on the wet moss, but he didn't care. Adventure was his constant companion. As Punch explored, he soon noticed a strange scent, a mix of damp earth and something unfamiliar. Curious, he followed it and found himself at the edge of a human campsite. Tent poles jutted awkwardly from the ground, and faint smoke rose from a small fire. Punch froze. He had seen humans before from afar, but never this close. His instincts told him to retreat, but his curiosity outweighed caution. He crept closer, hiding behind a tree, watching as the humans moved about, unaware of the small pair of eyes observing them. Days passed, and Punch's fascination with humans grew. He watched them set up camp, cook meals, and sometimes laugh and play. He noticed patterns in their behavior, the times they left the camp, the way they carefully stored food, and the soft noises they made to call each other. Punch began to mimic some of their actions. He would gather small sticks, arrange leaves neatly, and even attempt to balance on fallen logs like the humans walked on the ground. His mother, noticing his fascination, grew worried. "Punch, humans are not like us. Be careful," she warned. But Punch couldn't resist. There was a strange, thrilling energy around the humans, something that called to his adventurous spirit. One afternoon, a human child ventured near the forest edge. Punch, hidden behind a tree, watched the small child's hands gently touch flowers and pick up rocks. For the first time, Punch felt a strange connection, a mix of curiosity and trust. The child noticed movement in the bushes and smiled when Punch peeked out. Slowly, Punch inched closer, testing the waters. The child didn't scream or shout. Instead, they extended a small piece of fruit. Punch hesitated. Then, driven by hunger and curiosity, he took it carefully in his tiny hands. It was the beginning of a silent friendship. Over the next few weeks, Punch and the child developed a routine. Each day, the child would come to the forest edge, and Punch would meet halfway, taking small treats and sometimes exchanging tiny gifts, leaves, bright stones, or carefully collected nuts. Punch learned that humans had rules and rhythms, much like the forest, and he began to understand the patterns in their behavior. Yet life in the forest remained his priority. He still played with other young monkeys, learned from the elders, and swung through the trees with unmatched agility. One day, a sudden storm struck the forest. The wind howled and rain poured down in thick sheets. Punch, caught in the downpour, struggled to find shelter. Branches swayed violently, and the forest floor became slick with mud. He thought of the human camp and ran toward the edge of the forest, hoping to find the child. But when he arrived, the camp had been abandoned, tents collapsed, and the fire extinguished. Punch sat under a tree, shivering, realizing for the first time the fragility of life outside the forest's safety. It was then that Suri found him, her fur soaked but her eyes filled with relief. She wrapped her arms around Punch, nuzzling him gently. "You are brave, Punch, but bravery without caution can be dangerous." Punch realized that his adventures, while thrilling, also carried real risks. He'd learned about humans, the wider world, and the excitement of discovery, but also the importance of family, safety, and trust. Seasons changed, and Punch grew stronger, wiser, and more aware of the balance between curiosity and caution. He became a leader among the young monkeys, teaching them which branches were safe, where the sweetest fruits grew, and how to navigate the forest without falling prey to predators or accidents. Yet the memory of the human child lingered, a reminder that the world outside the forest held wonders he had yet to understand fully. Years later, Punch was no longer a baby. His fur had darkened, his muscles were stronger, and his eyes held the wisdom of countless adventures. He often returned to the edge of the forest, watching the distant humans with a quiet understanding. He had learned that curiosity could lead to discovery, but respect and caution ensured survival. Punch's journey from a daring, reckless baby to a wise, thoughtful monkey became a story the forest itself seemed to whisper, a tale of growth, courage, and the delicate balance between adventure and safety. And even as Punch swung from branch to branch, teaching the next generation of monkeys about the forest, he never forgot the lessons of his youth, that life was full of surprises, that trust could bridge worlds, and that every adventure was richer when tempered with care.